Yeah, 1 o'clock on the. Hi, everybody. Welcome, friends. How are you? This is our first live stream event town hall meeting. It's so exciting. Of course, we just had our 1 year anniversary of the calendar, right? Lynn did a beautiful job with that. And then, boom, we dropped the YouTube group. So this is really, really, really exciting. And we're excited that you're here. I'm here. Lynn's here. Lynn's going to start this thing off. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Lori. Hi, Mary Lou. Hi, Evia. Hi. I got to scroll
We've
down
got
here.
Neil and Julianne. Hi, Walpuri.
Oh, and
Welcome.
Julianne, Marlene, and Neil. All right. And
Tish
I
is
just got to
here.
Tish. All
Mhm.
right.
And Natalie. Hi, Natalie.
All right.
Um, yeah,
Oh,
so
and
here we
Teresa
are.
here. And hi, Walter. How are you? So good.
Hey, Mike.
We got a good start. Somehow, Lynn and I had a sneaking suspicion that this might be a popular meeting. Hi, Cindy. Didn't we, Lynn? Like it was like a
Yeah.
little birdie said, there might be some interest in what's going to be said here today. Yeah,
Well,
inquiring minds want to know. Natasha just joined us. Cindy Greenleaf is here. Beautiful. So, Lynn, do you want to? I'm gonna let you take it because Lynn's taking the nice part. And I'm the one that's going to get dirty in a little bit. So, Lynn, you want to
sure.
take it
Hand it over.
and let me know? Are you ready for me to put up your presentation? You want to talk a little bit first?
No, I think we'll jump straight into it. So basically, all we're going to do is we're going to recap everything that's brought us to this point, and then we're going to talk about where we go from here, our vision for the future, and why we've made the changes that we have.
Hi, Susanna. Welcome. All right, here we go. Here goes Lynn.
All righty. All right. So once again, welcome everybody, and this is really exciting for us. We are over the moon for what we've been able to achieve so far, and given all the challenges that both Annette and I have had over the last 12 months, it's amazing that we've come to the point that we have. Now, Annette, I'll navigate this if that's okay. That's
Mm.
fine. I can make my way through this. You don't
Oh,
have
good, Lynn. Oh, good. I forgot you could move it. You move it.
to. She's trying to take control, as she always does.
You know,
All righty. So let's jump into it. So
hostile takeovers do work sometimes.
sometimes they do. So basically, I think we all know, everyone that's here so far understands and knows where we came from. Of course, yeah, today is a reminder to me of how this all, the genesis of everything that's brought us to this point. Today is 4 years since a whole bunch of people turned up in Melbourne for a car race and they weren't allowed in. Susanna will probably remember that. So the Australian Grand Prix, which is happening today, 4 years ago, the world's best drivers came from all over the world, brought their expensive equipment out to Australia. People from all over the country and all over the world turned up in Melbourne to attend this car race and couldn't get in. That was the first time in Australia that something momentous had happened, and we all realised, hey, this COVID thing is really going to impact our lives. Fast forward, well, actually, I think that was 5 years ago. Was that 2020? My brain is mush after COVID, I tell you. I think we're talking 5 years ago. So as a result of that, Julianne says she has no video and no sound. Do we know why that might be, Annette? Do you want to have a look at the YouTube channel and see if you can
Not if everybody else has it.
help Julianne out there? So, yes, as a result of that and understanding how the world was going to be impacted by COVID, there was quite an amazing, when you think about it, team that put together a connected technology with tour guides. And ultimately, Hago came out of that. It was an amazing community. it built up to a community of something like 15,000 people with over 200 content creators and guides. So when April 2023 came round and the sudden shock news that they were closing their doors, it caused devastation for a lot of people. So a lot of us were left in a bit of a quandary, and we all know that there was a group of Hago people that went forward and created, first of all, a calendar and then a website, and we all patiently waited and watched for where that was going to lead us. Unfortunately, changing accounts helped. Well done, Julianne. Um, Unfortunately, it did become an exclusive club, and not everyone was able to join this exclusive club. So at that point, about just over a year ago, I basically took it on myself. This was a team of one at that time. I said, right, I'm going to create a calendar. How hard can it be? And I spent a couple of hours playing around with Google Calendar and came up with what I came up with. The journey since then has been filled with achievements and accomplishments and challenges and hurdles. And so we have, with the help of Annette, we've overcome all of those and brought us to a point where we've got a working calendar. People love it. It's easy to use. And so that's how the second calendar came about. So we had the one that was kind of endorsed by Hago initially, and then we brought about the second one that was inclusive for everybody. It's free to use. Guides were welcome. Didn't have to jump through any hoops to get on there. So we came up with the Livestream events calendar. And our reason for doing that was basically to keep the community together. It provided a place for guides with minimal means, and by that I mean that they didn't have to pay to use, didn't have to pay to play, which we thought was an obstacle for guides to actually basically present their content to an audience that isn't always themselves able to contribute. Part of our reason for being was that we were bringing community together, regardless of whether they could pay to be there or not. So as you all know, the tours that I personally deliver are offered free. They're free with the option to tip if you want to. And this is what keeps the community together, is that it's about options. I can see that the audio and video are working well. That's great. Okay. So our goal has always been about keeping the community together and growing it. And we overcame resistance. We overcame resistance of authority, our authority of our being, our place. Who we were and what right we had to be offering this. So our authenticity, if you like. We had to overcome the perception that we were competition, because in fact we weren't competition. We were an alternative, and we were providing access to those guides who didn't have that access. We overcame technical challenges. There were challenges with time zones, getting those right. There were challenges with users being able to get on and actually incorporate it and use it. So we had to make it easy for people who weren't so confident using technology to be able to use our calendar. And I can't see what the last point on the slide is, because it says slide 4 and it's copying it over top of it, but I'm guessing it says growing our community. Once again, this was about how we were going to get people on and using the calendar, because that's what the guides need. The guides need a growing community. So what have we achieved so far? Well, we've achieved a core group of self-sufficient guides who can actually use the calendar without our help. We don't have to be there. We don't have to add their events for them. We've trained them to a point where they can do that themselves, and we trust them to use it. So we've given certain guides that we have confidence in access to the calendar. They can get on whenever they like and add their events. They can change them, they can remove them, they can delete them. We don't need to be there doing that for them. And we have a core group of who do that frequently. And I'm saying Hi in particular to you, Evia, and we are very grateful for your contributions. We also have a secondary group of competent guides who post occasionally, and here Julianne. Julianne is a wonderful example of that, who goes off and deals with her challenges in her own life, goes off and does her in-person touring, and then comes back and says, hey, I just want to come back on and add a tour. Great, here you go, Julianne, off you go. We'll open access for you. But because she's an infrequent user, we close her permissions down when she's not actually using or adding to the calendar. And that's for the safety. We
Hey,
have
quiet.
those noisy dogs. We've had instances where accidents have happened and events have been inadvertently removed or changed. So we're avoiding that by actually turning off permissions for infrequent users. We have a current mailing list of 80 guides who've expressed interest in being included in the calendar at some point, perhaps not right now, but they've definitely expressed an interest. And we are constantly in contact with those people, reminding them that we're there, just asking if they're planning on doing live stream events anytime soon, and just reminding them that we're happy to do that training for them to get them up and running. And we also grew a membership base in the group that we were associated with by 60% since we opened our calendar. So 60% growth in membership from the day that we created the calendar to right at this point in time. That membership of that private group grew in numbers. And that was through basically having the ability to have a simple to use calendar and also active membership drives, which I personally was a big part of. So what have we created during this last year? Well, we've created the calendar itself. We've created the website that it actually resides on. And the reason that we created the website was because some users were just not getting it. They just didn't understand how to incorporate the Google Calendar into their own set of calendars on Google and use it. So I created a website. I paid to have that done. I've paid for hosting. I've paid for the domain name, and I also paid for some technical help because there were a couple of tweaks that needed to be made to make sure that it was aligned well for both desktop and mobile view, and that the dates were displaying correctly. So we had to make a couple of changes, and I paid for that to happen. So I've invested my own personal money into this as well. We've created the YouTube channel, and the reason for the YouTube channel is that it's, once again, it's a community. So all our guides who have a YouTube channel themselves are featured on that channel. I've created an upcoming events playlist. So every time one of our guides who is both on the calendar and has a YouTube channel creates a new event, that event goes into the upcoming events playlist, which is really easy to add to your own library. And I also created a Facebook page. Now, the Facebook page, the purpose for that is so that we can make announcements when necessary. And it's our property that is ours rather than an interactive place, which is what the group is for. So the logical next step, of course, was a public Facebook group. Now, the advantage of it being public is that, first of all, the content can be seen outside of the group. So if a guide places an event in the group, it can be discoverable from outside the group. Every time someone comments on that post, there's a chance that their friends will see it. So it's no longer, because the way that the algorithm works on Facebook now, it's no longer as important connections and family and friends. It's about interest. So Facebook targets what you see in your feed based on what you've expressed interest in previously. So that may not be what your friends and family are interested in. But if you have both, let's say you and your brother have both shown an interest in travel, there's a good chance that if he likes something, you'll see it in your feed as well. And that's how the public group algorithm works. Anything that's inside a private group will not be seen outside of that group. So there's just not that ability for reach for social reach. Posts that are made inside a public group can also be seen outside of Facebook. So they are discoverable through searches, through browser searches. And it gives us more of an opportunity to grow. Thank you, Susanna. Well said. It's about interest. That's exactly right. And Susanna has been in the website industry for many, many years, going back to long before the days of social media and Hago and all of this. So, you know, she's got expertise in this area. She knows what she's talking about. And while I'm on that point about reach as well, I'm going to cover something that is a bit of a myth. Hashtags. There's been a lot of emphasis put in some places about hashtags and how we all should be using hashtags. In actual fact, that's a myth, particularly in a private group. Try it yourself. Try clicking on a hashtag and see where that takes you. I'll guarantee you it doesn't take you to anything that's coming up, certainly not anything that's recent, and it's going to take you off into weird tangents. So hashtags aren't the be-all and end-all. We sometimes see them on public posts. They may be helpful. The jury's still out. I had a little bit of a play around again this morning with hashtags, and I'm not convinced that they work. So if anyone tries to tell you that we should be using hashtags, that's an absolute myth. So our vision going forward is that we are still and always concentrating on community growth, and that is for the benefit of our existing guides. What they want is to grow their audience, and a growing audience means the chance of more content. The chance of more content benefits users and people who are watching, who are wanting to be engaged in a virtual experience community. More guides. We want more guides to join as well. More guides doesn't mean competition for existing guides. It's enhancing the experience. I'm sure you're all aware that I'll give the example of a food court in a mall. If you've got one food shop on a road, you're less likely to stop there and pull up for that place than you are to go to a place where there's lots of choice. So if you go into a mall, not that we all just choose to do that, but we might go into a small pocket of a city, for example, that's renowned for having lots of choices for food outlets. You're more likely to go there than to pull up by the side of the road where there's one single food outlet. And I'm just having a glance at the comments. Yeah. Okay. So, and my final point there is it's rinse and repeat. It's basically grow the community and attract more guides, create more events, build a community, attract more viewers. This is our vision, is to grow in that way. So where to from here? We want to upskill our existing guides in new and creative ways. We have the YouTube channel that I mentioned earlier. We'd like to see our guides contributing to that channel. We'd like to see them create shorts. Shorts are very popular right now. They get big numbers. They follow the TikTok model and Facebook Reels. They're similar in that respect, in that they keep people engaged, they keep people on. What we're trying to encourage through shorts is that by using links out to your own properties, so that might be your own YouTube channel, or it might be linking out to your website or to another social site, so for instance, Instagram or TikTok or wherever it is that you want to channel your viewers to be. So we want our guides to be self-sufficient in adding their own content to our YouTube channel. That will also, we believe, that will help the YouTube channel to grow, and again, it will bring more potential viewers into our events. We're going to come up with strategies to engage the viewer community and our group, and we have brought in a couple of moderators that you'll get to know over time. We've brought in Diane and Matthew, who are there to help us, and they'll be helping to create some community, some content to help encourage viewers to share content. And once again, the aim is to build the community. Oh, Lynne. Hi, Lynne. We're talking about Finland because at one period I didn't actually realize where you were from. All right, so content is key, and once again, I can't read that last last line on my slide, but that's basically what we're up to, and how you can help. This is once again how you can be involved as a community. Please share. I know we said that it's not about friends and family and connections. It's about interest. Share with people who you know will be interested in this. We all know our own demographic. We all know who our core audience is. If you can think of anyone who's feeling isolated, if you can think of anyone who wishes they could travel but can't, if you think of anyone who you know would like to be involved in community, you know how well the chat works in our live events. Please invite them in, spread the word, share, talk to your circle, bring them in.